Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
Friends of Islam, this time the Islamic faith is back before you to share Islamic information. I hope it inspires your activities today. And don't forget to click the subscribe button and activate the bell button notifications so you don't miss the latest news from the Islamic Faith channel. Islam in Bosnia and Herzegovina has gone through a long history. The religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala entered Bosnia around the 15th century. It was the Ottoman Empire under the leadership of Sultan Muhammad who first brought Islam to Bosnia and other areas in the Balkan region, such as Albania, Bulgaria, Croatia, Montenegro, Macedonia, and Serbia. Most of Bosnia was conquered by the Ottoman Turks in 1463. Herzegovina was conquered in the 1480s. A century later, still under Ottoman rule, many Slavs converted to Islam.
أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا رسول الله.
By the early 1600s, an estimated 2/3 of Bosnia's population was Muslim. Bosnia is inhabited by three main ethnic groups, namely Bosniaks, Serbs, and Croats. Meanwhile, Islam is the majority religion there, which is generally practiced by the Bosnian ethnic group. The number of Muslims in this country reaches around 3 million people. In addition, Orthodox Christians reach 31% and Roman Catholics 15%. At the same time, Sufism became fundamental, which was practiced by many scholars. Therefore, Islam in Bosnia-Herzegovina has always been rooted in the books of the ulama and its center in mosques and Sufism. Bosniaks generally adhere to the Sunnah wal Jama'ah Islamic religion, although historically the Sufism sect has played an important role in this country. Adherents of other religions who exist together with adherents of Islam in Bosnia are the Serbian Orthodox Church, 35–37%, the Roman Catholic Church, 14–16%, and other groups, including non-religious people consisting of 6–11% of the population. The small Jewish community has approximately 1,000 adherents and has a special position in society due to its long history of coexistence with other religious communities and its active role as an intermediary between these communities. Bosnia-Herzegovina is one of the countries in Europe whose population is predominantly Muslim. Every trip always leaves behind a story that will never be forgotten, no exception for the story of Muslims from the Balkans. That country is Bosnia-Herzegovina, a beautiful peninsula with its natural beauty, a country that was once torn apart by the cruelty of war. Walking the streets of Sarajevo, the remnants of the cruelty of the conflict that once left a scar on this country are clearly visible. Now Bosnia-Herzegovina is at peace. No more whistling bullets threatening the lives of Bosnian citizens. There used to be 70% Muslims living in this country of 4 million people. Now only 50% remain, and they live side by side with Serbian Orthodox Christians, Roman Catholics, Protestants, and Jews. Although they were once wounded, now young Bosnian Muslims are starting to rise, trying to become the people of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala completely and maintaining their traditions. Gazi Husrev Bey Madrasa is one of the most historic schools in the Balkan region. The school, located in the middle of the Baskersia market, was founded around 460 years ago. Under Ottoman rule, this madrasa has educated at least 10,000 scholars, imams, hafids, and philosophers from the Bosnian region. Now, this general high school has followed the development of world education. Islam gets 60% of all subjects in this school. The rest are general subjects. Another thing that is also different, classes for male students are always separated from classes for female students. The Muslim women in this school not only have beautiful faces and wear the typical Eastern European hijab, they also have the will to study their religion as perfectly as possible. One of the most special things about this madrasa is its nasheed. The nasheed chants from the Gazi Husrev Madrasa are very popular, not only in Bosnia, but almost all over the world. At least in cyberspace, the melodious voices of the students of this madrasa have been listened to by thousands of their fans. This nasheed is usually sung as part of the graduation celebration of madrasa students. What is special is that not only do they have nasheed skills, they are also taught to memorize and recite the holy verses of the Quran. If you visit Sarajevo, be sure to stop by the Istiqlal Mosque. Just like in Indonesia, Sarajevo also has the Istiqlal Mosque. This magnificent mosque was built with donations from Indonesia during the reign of President Suharto. No wonder it has the same name. The ornaments are also very thick with Indonesian nuances. Talking about Muslims in Bosnia is not only about Muslims who live in urban areas, but there is also the beautiful village of Lukamir. Here lives a Muslim tribe in the middle of the Bjelašnica Mountains. One of them is named Karim Katovic. Karim said that Lukamir is known as the highest and most isolated village in his country. Located at an altitude of about 5,000 feet, this village will be covered in thick snow from December to April. At that time, most of the population will move and descend from the village. The history of Lukamir's existence began with the Bosnian king in the Middle Ages named Stephen Thomas and his son Stephen Tomasevic, who forced their people to convert to Catholicism. At that time, the Bosnian people who were Christians refused and decided to flee to the middle of the Bjelašnica Mountains and build a village called Lukamir. The name Lukamir means a harbor of peace in accordance with what they were looking for at that time, a comfortable and peaceful life without coercion. The people of Lukamir embraced Islam without coercion. Their ancestors, who were Bosnian Christians, found something different in Islam. Islam was brought and spread by the Ottoman Turks, who came to the Bosnian region in the early 15th century. Soon after, the entire population of Lukamir decided to choose Islam and become completely Muslim. Bosnia is one of the countries with many traditional celebrations. In this festival, dance groups like Ismars usually participate and show off their skills. There is a unique fact about Bosnia and Herzegovina. They are the only country in the world that has 3 presidents in one term of government. These 3 heads of state are representatives of each ethnic group living in Bosnia, namely Bosnians, Croats, and Serbs. Each president has a term of office of 8 months and then exchanges with a presidential representative from another ethnic group. The phenomenon of converts, or people who convert to Islam, is also in the spotlight. Many of them are interested in Islamic teachings after conducting a deep spiritual search. This process is often influenced by interaction with the Muslim community, wider access to information about Islam, and personal experiences that bring them closer to this religion. This development is also supported by the increasingly good religious infrastructure, such as mosques, Islamic study centers, and religious institutions that are active in spreading Islamic teachings peacefully and inclusively. In Bosnia, Islam is not only a religion that is practiced, but also an important part of the nation's cultural and social identity. The development of Islam in Bosnia and the increasing number of converts show that this religion continues to play an important role in the lives of the Bosnian people, with a strong spirit of brotherhood and tolerance. The life of Muslims in Bosnia and Herzegovina reflects a combination of strong Islamic traditions and rich cultural heritage. As a Muslim-majority country, around 50–55% of the Bosnian population is Muslim. Religious life plays a significant role in society. Although the majority is Muslim, Bosnia and Herzegovina is a multicultural and multi-religious country. Relations between the Muslim, Orthodox Christian, and Catholic communities in Bosnia are often characterized by tolerance and mutual respect, despite a complex history of conflict. Bosnian Muslims generally value diversity and live peacefully side by side with other religious communities. Islam in Bosnia is also influenced by contact with the international Muslim world. Many Bosnian Muslims are connected to Muslim communities in the Middle East, Turkey, and other Muslim countries, who brought a variety of religious ideas and practices to Bosnia. However, the Bosnian Islamic identity remains unique, with distinctive features and local adaptations. Despite the challenges, Muslims in Bosnia continue to maintain and develop their religious life in harmony with the wider society. When most people hear the word Bosnia, the image that comes to mind is probably one of war. Understandably so, since World War I started there, and the genocide happened as recently as 1995. Although that was over 20 years ago, The horrors of what happened are hard to forget. The people of this region eat more meat such as beef, lamb, and veal, so if you are a meat lover, you are in for a treat. Their version of the kebab is a mixture of meats roasted in an old-school oven, which gives it a wonderful smoky flavor. The fact that halal food is very cheap here is also an added bonus. Bosnian Muslims may not have a strategic importance, but they do have a symbolic one. Sarajevo is a word that resonates with many because of the tragedy and fighting that took place there. The Salafis, Alabasic said, remain a challenge. But Bosnian Muslims are also concerned about Sufis and Shiites. Bosnian Muslims have a problem with Sufis if they only listen to their sheikhs and do not accept the authority of the community. An imam is not allowed to turn a mosque into a private place for his brotherhood. This is why some grassroots congregations have broken away. If a Wahhabi Muslim comes to us with a diploma that matches our faculty in terms of subjects and scope of study, then he has the right to work in Bosnia. That is Islamic pluralism, he said. In that condition, of course, there are groups at the grassroots who reject it, for example, by expressing reluctance to make that person an imam. But we cannot impose the ban ourselves, he said. Alibasic spoke about Iran's presence in Bosnia. For him, it is mainly due to Shiism. It is very emotional and full of stories of victims. Bosnians have a weakness for that, because we ourselves have suffered a lot and we are used to injustice, he added. For a while, Alibasic explained, some intellectuals took a position that influenced Iran on the Syrian conflict, but now they are trying to back down. In general, he sees more religious influence than political influence, but politically, Iran is too far away. Exploring Islam in Bosnia and Herzegovina is a rich and profound experience, because the country has a long history and heritage that is closely linked to Islam. Bosnia is home to many historic mosques that reflect the influence of Ottoman architecture. These mosques are not only places of worship, but also silent witnesses of the long history of Islam in this region. The country officially called Bosnia and Herzegovina has a significant Muslim population in the Balkan Peninsula, or Europe in general, until now in 2013, approximately 51%, or equivalent to 1.8 million people of the total population of the country, are Muslims. Their level of religiosity is also quite good. This is reflected in a survey conducted by the Pew Research Center several years ago. More than 80% of Muslim respondents in Bosnia-Herzegovina admitted to carrying out religious activities in their daily lives. Looking at historical records, Bosnia-Herzegovina has a long experience with the spread of Christianity, before finally most of it accepted Islam. Before the arrival of Muslim rulers, the position of this country was quite unique in the geopolitical map of medieval Christianity. Uniquely, both Catholics and Orthodox Christians viewed the Bogomilism sect as heretical. Therefore, it is not surprising that Pope Gregory IX repeatedly called for an invasion of Bosnia during the Crusades of 1235 to 1241. It was only in 1322, when Bosnia was led by Ban Kotromanic, that it formed an alliance with the nearest Catholic country, Hungary. However, this alliance was unable to do much against the expansion of the Islamic Empire, the Ottoman Empire. Schumann explains that the Ottoman sultans protected the rights of non-Muslims in the conquered territories to live normally and worship. However, waves of conversion continued to occur. Historians suspect various motives for the local population to become Muslims. Muslim men, women, and children begin the tradition by walking 7 kilometers from the city center to the Ajvatoviga Mountains in Prusak village, central Bosnia. Entering the mountainous area, ritual participants must pass through the forest with a narrow path between rows of cliffs. Caution is needed when crossing this steep path because, if you are not careful, you can slip into a ravine which can result in death. Climbing is one of the most popular activities here, in the city of Zenica, during Ramadan. Fasting is one of the obligations during Ramadan, as is enjoying nature, which is a gift from God. Upon arriving at the edge of a steep and rugged ravine, participants hold a prayer led by dozens of clerics. The location of the prayer procession itself is near a holy spring, which is estimated to be 500 years old. Bosnian Muslims believe that in this location, a great cleric named Ajvaz Dado had his prayer answered by the Creator. The prayer was a request that the dry village of Prusak be given an abundance of water for fertility. After holding a joint prayer, the Muslim community then held a congregational prayer in an open field. Bosnia-Herzegovina is a multi-ethnic and religious country located in Southeast Europe, precisely on the Balkan Peninsula. In this former Yugoslavian country that was once torn apart by a prolonged war, Islam is the majority religion with more than 50% of its adherents. The Muslim village in Bosnia is Sarajevo. The name Sarajevo as the capital of Bosnia-Herzegovina may not be popular among travelers. However, this city with a Muslim majority is so enchanting. Bosnia-Herzegovina is one of the countries that was hit by a major conflict in mid-1992 to 1996, when this country fought for its independence from Yugoslavia. In practice, many cities later became war arenas, and many became seas of rubble due to the bloody conflict between ethnic groups on the Balkan Peninsula. The country's capital and largest city, Sarajevo, also did not escape the rain of mortars or bullets fired by Serbian troops who wanted to thwart the independence of this country. Sarajevo, for those who have the opportunity to visit this city, is a story of suffering, tragedy, revival, and exoticism for one of the Muslim-majority countries in Europe. The population of Bosnia-Herzegovina as a whole consists of 3 different ethnicities, namely the Bosniak ethnic group as the majority who are Muslim, followed by the Serbian ethnic group who are Orthodox Christians and the Croatian ethnic group who are Roman Catholic. Bosnian Muslims themselves are also the only Muslim population who come from the Slavic ethnic group or look like Caucasians such as blonde hair or blue eyes. Perhaps one of the most famous examples is Edin Dzeko, the most famous Bosnian footballer who now plays for AS Roma in Italy and was once a Premier League champion with Manchester City. The city center of Sarajevo itself is also an interesting blend of 2 contrasting cultures and architecture, namely Ottoman Turkey and Austro-Hungary. Entering the Old Town area on one side, you will feel like you are in the city of Vienna. But if you go deeper, the atmosphere becomes like in Istanbul. Not to mention the local culinary sevapi, which is very similar to Turkish kebab, and the many souvenir traders selling devil eye, which is identical to typical Turkish souvenirs, really add a different aroma from other European countries. The most famous landmark of the city of Sarajevo is Baskarcia, which became the center of commerce or Grand Bazaar in the style of Turkey during the Ottoman era, which was founded in 1462 and was founded by the Ottoman general named Isa Bey Ishakovic, with an iconic Ottoman-style fountain called Sabilj in the middle. Currently, Baskarcia is the main place to gather, as well as a center for typical Bosnian souvenirs, and slightly emphasizes Sarajevo as Little Istanbul in the Balkan mainland. Symbol of Islamic revival in Vogoska, Bosnia. Vogoska, a city in Bosnia-Herzegovina, has a population of around 32,000 people. Although it is predominantly inhabited by Muslims, there are not many buildings that are icons of pride for the Muslim community there. This is due to the destruction of historical Islamic sites that occurred when Bosnia was still part of Yugoslavia, especially when the communists were in power. This condition was exacerbated when the Serbian-Bosnian War broke out in the 1990s. The war that lasted until 1995 destroyed 20% of mosque buildings, and after the prolonged conflict, less than 70% of mosque buildings, as well as historical Islamic sites, remained throughout Bosnia, including in Vogoska. After the reintegration of Vogoska into the state of Bosnia-Herzegovina on February 23, 1996, Muslim residents in Vogoska who had fled to various regions returned to this area. They also rebuilt one of the important mosques in this region that had been destroyed by the Civil War. Bosnia-Herzegovina's decade-long journey after independence shows that there is hope for the pulse of Islam in this region. Development in Vogoska continues to grow, encouraging the reconstruction of the Vogoska Mosque in 2005. The mosque is located not far from the main Vogoska station and was opened in 2006. The presence of this mosque shows the rise of Muslim spirituality in this region. This is because the cost of building the mosque was purely obtained from the collection of donations from the Vogoska Muslim community. The cost of building the Vogoska Mosque cost $870,000 or Hapiranos 11.3 billion. An experienced architect from Sarajevo, Kemal Zukic, was trusted as the designer of the Vogoska Mosque. Kemal Zukic is indeed famous for his abilities in contemporary Islamic architectural art in Bosnia. Since 1995, he has long been trusted to reconstruct historic Islamic buildings that were destroyed by war in the Balkan region. In the architecture of the Vagoska Mosque, Kemal Zukic included a different model from the structure of mosque buildings in Bosnia in general, which follow the Ottoman style. In this mosque, the impression displayed is more modern and futuristic. This mosque stands on an area of 2,300 square meters. The total building area is 853 square meters with a ground floor of 349 square meters. The initial construction of the building actually began in 2000, but the overall work began in 2005. The building's foundation structure uses reinforced concrete slabs, concrete beams and columns, while other structures also use bricks as part of the walls. In addition, the distinctive modern style of the mosque's minaret is dominated by a glass structure with a concrete frame. The Vagoska Mosque plan consists of 3 parts. The ground floor includes a meeting room, a place of learning or madrasa, a library room, a place for ablution, and a bathroom area. Then on the first floor, there is a main prayer room connected by 2 staircase accesses from the ground floor and the main staircase from the northwest. On the second floor, there is a smaller prayer room for female worshippers. In this area of the mosque, workers can not only worship and access religious education, but also socialize, rest, enjoy food and drinks, and chat and gather together. The Muslim tribe in Bosnia, or Bosniak, plays an important role in the history and culture of Bosnia and Herzegovina, and continues to contribute to the social and political life of the region. Mosques in Bosnia and Herzegovina do indeed play a central role in the daily lives of the Bosniak people. The presence of worshippers who fill the mosques, especially during congregational prayers, shows how important religion is in their spiritual lives. The 5 daily prayers, especially Friday prayers, are often packed with worshippers. This reflects the strong commitment of the Bosniak people to Islam and how the mosque is an important gathering place for the community. In addition to prayer, mosques in Bosnia are also places for various social activities, such as religious studies, commemoration of Islamic holidays, and other community events. This further strengthens the bonds between fellow members of the community. One of the oldest and most famous mosques in Bosnia, built in 1530. This mosque is not only a place of worship, but also a symbol of the history and culture of Islam in Bosnia. This mosque, which was destroyed during the war and rebuilt in 2016, is a symbol of reconciliation and resilience of Muslims in Bosnia. Also known as the Colored Mosque, this is one of the most beautiful mosques in Bosnia, which reopened after reconstruction, marking the revival of Islamic culture in the region. During the month of Ramadan, mosques in Bosnia are filled with worshippers who come to perform Tarawih prayers and break their fast together. The atmosphere in the mosque becomes very lively, with various religious activities involving the entire community. During major Islamic holidays, such as Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha, mosques are even more packed with worshippers. On these occasions, Muslims gather to pray together and celebrate the big day with family and friends. Many mosques in Bosnia hold religious classes for children and adults, including teaching the Quran, Islamic jurisprudence, and Islamic history. This helps to maintain and strengthen the religious identity among the younger generation. The mosques filled with worshippers also reflect the determination of the Bosnian people to maintain their identity and promote peace, despite the bloody conflict. Mosques are a symbol of the continuity of faith and living together in diversity. The presence of worshippers who always fill the mosques reflects the importance of religion in their lives, as well as how the mosque functions as a spiritual and social center that strengthens bonds between people. Bosnia and Herzegovina is known for its stunning natural beauty and culture, from majestic mountains to historic cities filled with Islamic architecture. Bosnia is surrounded by beautiful mountains, such as the Dinaric Alps. The views from the peaks offer stunning panoramas with green valleys, clear rivers, and traditional villages. Rivers such as the Neretva, Una, and Drina are famous for their clear blue waters, perfect for activities such as rafting and swimming. Waterfalls such as Krivika and Pliva are also beautiful places to visit. Situated in Jajce, the lake is surrounded by hills and forests, creating a peaceful and harmonious atmosphere. It is a perfect place for a picnic or just to enjoy the beauty of nature. Bosnia has many stunning historical mosques with distinctive Ottoman architecture. In addition to the Gazi Husrev Beg Mosque in Sarajevo and the Stari Most in Mostar, the Ferhat Pasha Mosque in Banja Luka and the Aladza Mosque in Foča are also beautiful examples of Islamic architecture. Bosnians are known to be very friendly and welcoming to visitors. In the villages and towns, you will often be greeted with a genuine smile and friendliness. Bosnians are very proud of their traditions and are happy to share them with others. Muslim friends who are blessed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, hopefully this video is useful and see you in our next video.